Are we really acting surprised that cheating exists in the NBA? This is a league where guys will flop like fish, fake injuries, sneak into opposing huddles, and yes, even rub industrial glue on their hands. From sneaky plays to straight-up scandals, these players didn't just break the rules, they rewrote them. So let's take a tour of the NBA's dirtiest secrets, one busted baller at a time. Make sure to watch to the end if you truly want to be shocked. Draymond Green has always had a PhD in chaos. Whether he's kicking opponents in their family jewels or screaming at refs, he plays the game like a WWE heel. But what landed him on this list? Not a foul, just some good old-fashioned espionage. Yep, the man literally walked into another team's huddle during a timeout. Take a look at this. That's not defense, that's damn near surveillance. The goal wasn't to hear plays, it was about getting in their heads. He'd stroll in like he owned the place, smile, nod, and leave, knowing he just disrupted the team's rhythm. Opponents hated it. In the NBA, well, they didn't exactly write a new rule, but everybody knew this wasn't just trash talk, it was mental warfare. When you hear Dwight Howard and ball handling, you don't expect controversy. But in 2016, Howard got caught using a sticky substance called Stickum on his hands during a game. Why? Better grip, supposedly. But the NBA bans that stuff. Paul Millsap knew something was off. He touched the ball, recoiled, and immediately told the ref, "Yo, this thing's got glue on it." Dwight didn't even deny it. He shrugged it off like it was some pickup game hack. Stickum might not sound like the worst offense, but it was blatant. Imagine a quarterback rubbing pine tar on a football mid-game. Dwight's excuse? "I've been doing it for years." "Oh, so you've been cheating longer than we thought. Thanks for clearing that up." Jared Dudley isn't known for flashy dunks or buzzer beaters. But when it comes to bending the rules, he pulled off one of the slickest moves you'll ever see. During a jump ball, instead of contesting the tip like, everyone does, he just ran in and stole it like a thief in the night. Andrew Bynum tipped it, Dudley snatched it, passed it, and boom, his team got free throws. Refs just stood there, probably wondering if they missed something in the rulebook. Now, technically, it's illegal to interfere that blatantly during a jump ball. But Dudley got away with it, no whistle, just vibes. And while the Lakers were furious, Dudley smiled. After all, he didn't need hops to cheat gravity, he just needed guts. Joe Smith pulled off one of the boldest cheating scandals in NBA contract history. After rejecting an $80 million deal with the Warriors, he signed with the Timberwolves for pennies. People thought he lost his mind, but there was a plan. Turns out Smith and the Wolves had a secret agreement. He'd sign cheap one-year deals until they earned his bird rights. Then they'd cash him out later with a massive contract that wouldn't violate the cap. That's not creative accounting, that's flat-out cheating. The NBA found out during a lawsuit. The punishment? The Timberwolves lost multiple first-round picks and got fined $3.5 million. Smith's rep never fully recovered. He didn't just game the system, he paid the price when it collapsed on him. Before Zaza Pachulia made landing space a household phrase, Bruce Bowen was out here sliding under jump shooters like he was stealing second base. He'd edge his foot just under yours right as you landed, risking twisted ankles and torn ligaments. The league never suspended him, but players and analysts knew. You don't accidentally undercut guys that often. And the kicker? Bowen later criticized Zaza for the exact same move that made Bowen a defensive legend. It's like a pickpocket calling someone else a thief. Sure, Bruce was technically playing defense, but ask any shooter who faced him, it felt more like Russian roulette with every jumper. In 2013, Hedo Turkoglu was suspended 20 games after testing positive for methanolone, anabolic steroid. His excuse? He was recovering from a shoulder injury in Turkey and accidentally used it for faster healing. Sure, buddy. Because steroids accidentally fall into your protein shake, right? The NBA didn't care. Rules are rules. Whether it's for performance enhancement or pain relief, methanolone is on the banned list. And while Hedo's image wasn't as big as LeBron or Kobe, his suspension made headlines across the league. Sometimes the worst cheat isn't what you take, but the excuse you give when you get caught. Atlanta Hawks forward John Collins was suspended 25 games in 2019 for testing positive for growth hormone-releasing peptide 2. His defense? It must have been a contaminated supplement. Sound familiar? That's because it's the go-to line when a player gets busted. Collins was a rising star and key to the Hawks' rebuild. His suspension derailed early season momentum and raised eyebrows about what else might be going on in team circles. Contaminated or not, the NBA held firm. Collins had to sit out, and the Hawks learned a brutal lesson. When you're trying to build a winning culture, there's no room for chemical shortcuts. If there's a Mount Rushmore of NBA floppers, Chris Paul's face is carved in stone. The man treats non-contact like it's a career-ending collision. You could sneeze in his direction and he'd fall like he got hit by a freight train. Flopping isn't new, but Chris Paul made it an art form. He flails, he yelps, he even whips his head back mid-dribble. In 2013, the NBA had enough and began fining players for flop violations. Guess who was among the first to get hit? Yep, you guessed it, Chris Paul. Now to be clear, Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer with elite basketball IQ, but there's a fine line between smart play and flat-out deception. Chris crossed it so many times, they had to invent new lines just to keep up. Lance Stephenson never failed a drug test or took illegal payments. But that doesn't mean he didn't cheat, just not in the way you'd expect. Remember the infamous moment when he blew air into LeBron James's ear during the 2014 Eastern Conference Finals? That wasn't just weird, it was strategic. Lance specialized in mental disruption, playing head games instead of basketball. He'd fake injuries, bump into players off the ball, and yap nonstop. His goal wasn't just to play defense, it was to get inside your head and rearrange the furniture. Was it illegal? Technically no. But was it dirty? Absolutely. Ask LeBron, or Paul George, or the Pacers coaching staff who couldn't even justify half of what Lance did. It wasn't ball, it was performance art with a side of trolling. Wilson Chandler was another NBA vet who got sidelined for performance-enhancing drugs. In 2019, the Brooklyn Nets forward received a 25-game suspension for testing positive for ipamorelin, a growth hormone secretagogue. Ipamorelin isn't something you pick up at a gas station vitamin aisle. It's a serious compound that stimulates growth hormone release and clearly banned under the NBA's anti-drug policy. Of course, Chandler claimed he didn't knowingly ingest it. Probably thought it was creatine or flaxseed oil, right? The league didn't care. Suspension handed down, reputation dinged. Chandler returned, but the trust didn't. Once a player is labeled for PEDs, the doubt sticks longer than any stat line. Reggie Evans played like a bulldozer in sneakers. Pure hustle, rebounds, grit, and questionable tactics. In 2006, during a playoff game between the Nuggets and Clippers, Evans reached into Chris Kaman's shorts during a rebound battle. And no, that's not a euphemism. He grabbed him. Kaman looked like he'd seen a ghost, and the refs missed it. Later on, Evans got fined $10,000. Not for a flagrant foul, but for unsportsmanlike conduct. The NBA clearly didn't have a rule for grabbing someone below the belt, so they made one up just to fine him. Reggie never apologized, just kept playing his game dirty and disruptive. And while that move wasn't technically cheating in the traditional sense, it was so wildly out of line, it deserves a spot in the Hall of Infamy. In 2009, Orlando Magic sharpshooter Rashard Lewis tested positive for an anabolic steroid, testing the NBA's squeaky clean postseason image. The timing? Right after the Magic had made their run to the finals. The drug in question was testosterone-based, giving Rashard a supposed edge in energy and recovery. The NBA hit him with a 10-game suspension at the start of the following season. Lewis admitted fault and took the punishment without the usual bad supplement excuse. But the stain was permanent. Even years later, analysts bring it up when talking about that 2009 finals team. He was never the same after. One of the first big-name players to get popped for PEDs. And even if it wasn't malicious, the message was clear. If you cheat, fans never forget. In a league filled with talent, speed, and highlight reels, it's easy to forget that some of the game's most memorable moments weren't about the game at all. From stickum and steroids to eavesdropping and flopping, these players didn't just test the rules, they tested our patience. Whether they got suspended, fined, or just side-eyed by the rest of the league, every single one of them left a mark, and not the kind you hang in the rafters. So next time someone calls the NBA clean, show them this list, because behind every buzzer beater and poster dunk, there's always a little dirt on the ball. Now we want to hear from you. Which one of these NBA cheats shocked you the most? Or did we miss a player who deserves to be exposed? Drop their name in the comments and tell us what they did. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you don't miss out on our next video.